This is the most dangerous book in psychology. For 80 years, a red leather book lay hidden in a bank vault in Switzerland.
His family refused to publish it. They denied scholars access to it. They were terrified that if the world saw what was inside, it would destroy his legacy.
The author was Carl Jung, the most famous psychiatrist in the world, the heir to Sigmund Freud.
But in 1913, Jung didn't write this book as a scientist. He wrote it as a man losing his mind. He called it Liber Novus, the new book. The world knows it simply as the Red Book.
Was this the diary of a psychotic breakdown? Or was it the documentation of the most dangerous psychological experiment ever attempted?
Stay with us. We are going to open the vault. We'll show you the terrifying technique Jung used to talk to demons, the prophecy that predicted World War I, and how you can use his shadow work to integrate the darkest parts of your own mind.
Because if Jung was right, the things you see in your nightmares aren't dreams. They are real, and they are waiting for you to speak to them. 1913. Carl Jung is at the peak of his career. He's the president of the International Psychoanalytical Association. He is Sigmund Freud's crown prince.
But privately, Jung is haunted. He begins having apocalyptic visions in the middle of the day.
October 1913. Jung is on a train. Suddenly, the landscape outside turns to blood. He sees the Alps covered in corpses. The sea turns yellow. He hears the screams of millions.
He diagnosed himself with psychosis. He thought he was developing schizophrenia. He prepared to resign, check himself into an asylum, and end his career.
But then, August 1914, World War I begins. The sea of blood wasn't a hallucination. It was a premonition.
He realized he wasn't going crazy. He was tapping into something else, something older. He called it the collective unconscious. And instead of running from the voices in his head, he decided to let them in.
He called it the confrontation with the unconscious. Every night after seeing patients, Jung would sit in his study. He would induce a trance state, awake but dreaming.
If you watched our last documentary on Napoleon Hill, this should sound familiar. Hill called it his invisible counselors. Jung called it active imagination. But Jung went much, much deeper than Hill.
He met entities. The most powerful was an old man with the wings of a kingfisher bird. He named him Philemon.
Jung treated Philemon not as a dream, but as a separate person. They argued, they debated. Philemon taught him things Jung claimed he never knew. Jung wrote, "There were things in the psyche which I do not produce, but which produce themselves and have their own life."
Pause for a second. This sounds like schizophrenia. But Jung argued that everyone has these figures in their head. We just ignore them.
Jung called it the inner conversation. When you argue with yourself in the shower, who exactly are you arguing with?
I want to know, have you ever had a dream or a voice that felt like it wasn't you? Like a separate entity living in your head? Tell me in the comments. Because Jung says that wasn't a dream. That was them. Then there was the anima, the soul. Sometimes she was a snake, sometimes a woman. She told him that his science was useless here. This was the land of the dead.
For 16 years, Jung transcribed these conversations into the Red Book. He painted the demons he saw. He wrote in Latin and German calligraphy. He built a personal cathedral of madness.
He kept it secret. He knew if the medical board saw this book, they would lock him up. It was his dangerous secret, the source of all his genius and his potential destruction.
So, was he crazy? Or is there a science to this?
In 2025, we call this flow state or lucid dreaming, but Jung discovered something more specific.
Jung realized the human mind is split. There is the persona, the mask you wear for society, the nice, polite employee. And then there's the shadow.
The shadow contains everything you deny: your aggression, your sexual deviance, your greed, your capacity for violence.
Most people spend their lives running from the shadow. They project it onto others. I'm not angry, he is angry.
Jung's thesis was terrifying. You cannot be a good person until you know how much evil you are capable of.
By writing the Red Book, Jung wasn't losing his mind, he was integrating it. He sat down with his shadow, gave it a name, and asked it what it wanted. He called this individuation.
He famously said, "No tree, it is said, can grow to heaven unless its roots reach down to hell." Before we get to the practical techniques, a quick note. We are building a library here. We are digging up the dark psychology and lost history that schools refuse to teach, from the Stoics to the alchemists.
If you want to understand the human mind without the censorship, click the subscribe button. Help us build the archive. So how do you apply the Red Book protocol in a world of iPhones and dopamine? You don't need to paint demons. You need to do shadow work.
Technique 1, the vomit journal. Jung wrote his fantasies down without judgment. Every morning, write down your darkest, most intrusive thoughts. The anger, the jealousy, the weird fantasies. Do not censor it. Get it out of your body and onto paper. Once it is on paper, it no longer controls you from the dark.
Technique 2, active imagination. Close your eyes. Visualize a figure that represents your anxiety or your fear. Give it a shape. Is it a goblin, a storm, a person? Now, talk to it. Ask it, why are you here? What do you want? Don't answer for it. Wait for the answer. You will be shocked at what your subconscious says back.
Technique 3, integration. Stop trying to be nice. Start trying to be whole. When you feel a surge of aggression, don't suppress it. Channel it. Use that shadow energy for competition, for business, for protection. A harmless man is not a good man. A good man is a dangerous man who has his monster under voluntary control.
Carl Jung died in 1961. His family kept the Red Book locked away until 2009. They were ashamed of it.
But when it was finally published, it didn't destroy his reputation, it cemented it. It proved that the man who mapped the human mind had actually traveled there. Jung opened the door to the unconscious, but there was another man who tried to control it using fear. Next, we are going to investigate the most dangerous political book ever written, The Prince by Machiavelli. Some say it's a guide to power, others say it's the handbook of psychopaths. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it.